Within Buddhism, its essence is universal and has been expressed in one way or another in all human cultures and traditions. As I see it, the increasingly widespread adoption and practice of mindfulness meditation in our individual lives and in our work, and its intentional application moment by moment and day by day in how we respond to the world we inhabit, could potentially provide the very root of authentic well-being, peacefulness, and clarity within our vast diversity of peoples, cultures, and aspirations on the planet. Mindfulness is something to offer all of us as individuals and as a global human community. I don't think that there is any question that its transformative potential needs to be realized, i.e., made real, in an infinite number of creative ways at this particular juncture in the unfolding of our species, nested within our far more fragile than we thought until recently planetary abode. As one of many recent indications that mindfulness is moving into the mainstream in broadly influential ways, the very last chapter of the historian Yuval Noah Harari's 21 Lessons for the 21st Century is about mindfulness. In it, he discloses that since a 10-day retreat in the year 2000, he has been meditating every day, plus annually participating in an intensive silent meditation retreat of 1 or 2 months' duration, with no books or social media during that time. That alone tells us a lot. After offering us 2 remarkably popular, profound, provocative, and insightful volumes describing the history of the human condition and the challenges we are facing as a species in the very near future, some of them quite terrifying, his most recent work, also a bestseller, distills from all that scholarly investigation 21 lessons for the present. I found it quite revealing and gratifying that, with all the threads Harari so skillfully weaves together from history to reveal the enormous challenges our species is facing now, he explicitly adopts the rigorous practice of mindfulness in his own life and names it as an improbable but perhaps essential element for cultivation if, as a species, we are to thread the needle going forward in facing the new challenges brought on by both information technology and biotechnology, challenges he elaborates in considerable and sobering detail. When 21 Lessons for the 21st Century was reviewed on the front page of the Sunday New York Times Book Review on September 9, 2018, by Bill Gates, under the title Thinking Big, because Harari is nothing if not a deep and creative thinker and synthesizer as an historian, Gates asks, what does Harari think we should do about all this, i.e. the large challenges Harari enumerates we are facing as a species at this moment in time? Sprinkled throughout is some practical advice, including a 3-pronged strategy for fighting terrorism and a few tips for dealing with fake news. But his big idea boils down to this: meditate. Of course, he isn't suggesting that the world's problems will vanish if enough of us start sitting in the lotus position and chanting Om. But he does insist that life in the 21st century demands mindfulness, getting to know ourselves better and seeing how we contribute to suffering in our own lives. This is easy to mock, but as someone who's taken a course on mindfulness and meditation, I found it compelling. This is a rather remarkable statement, especially coming from Bill Gates. Apparently, he understands the power of mindfulness from the inside. The way I would put the basic message of this book is that before we give up being human in the face of what is very likely on the horizon, i.e. artificial intelligence, intelligent robots, and the prospect of digitally, if not also biologically, enhanced humans, and much more, as Harari describes in great detail, we might do well to explore in depth what being fully human, and thus more embodied and more awake, might really mean and feel like. That is both the plea and the challenge of this book, and of all 4 books in the Coming to Our Senses series. But it is inviting a very personal engagement on your part, in the sense that each one of us has a responsibility